Alrighty, folks. Looks like we've got a full house today. I'd just like to welcome those that are attending here, those that may be watching online, or those that may be watching the video at a later date. It's our regular BOCC meeting for September 27th. And before we call the roll, I'd like to invite our county manager up to provide our invocation and lead us in the pledge. Sean?
As recorded in the book of Isaiah, the green grass withers and the flowers fade, but the word of our Lord stands forever. There's also the reminder that God brings good things. Shall we pray? Dear Lord, Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this opportunity to come together once again. We ask, Lord, that you watch over our public servants, those who are called upon to come to action and save lives and protect the people. We also ask for continued wisdom to our leaders and continued protection and blessings for the community. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Sean. Alrighty, it's 9:02. Amanda, could you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Richardson?
Here.
Commissioner Thayer?
Here.
Commissioner Schroeder?
Here.
Alrighty, we have a quorum. Right, first order of business we have is to approve the agenda. I'd accept a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. The agenda is set. First item of business we have items on consent. I would accept an agenda, or excuse me, a motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the items on consent. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. All righty. Moving on to elected officials, department head, and staff reports. We got a couple of items are teed up, but do we have anything from elected officials today? Oh, come on up.
Hi, good morning, commissioners. Susan Murphy, Elbert County Assessor. I see we have a full house this morning, so I'll make this brief. But I did just want to mention, I mean, you guys already know this, but annually we have an audit. It's an independent audit. It's selected by the Colorado Legislative Council, and it's by statute. The two procedural analysis include the procedural analysis and statistical analysis. And again, I'll be brief, but there were no recommendations in the report, and I also emailed you a copy of it. So just wanted to say that, and thanks to my staff for working so hard and diligent and being efficient, and they've done a great job this year.
That they have. Do you have any questions or comments? No, it's always good to have kind of that external look at your operations. So.
Right.
And even better when you pass.
Yeah, very good. So just wanted to present that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Susan. Anything else from elected officials? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to the items that we have listed on the agenda. The first is a proclamation in recognition of annual 4-H week, for October 1st through the 7th of 2023. Is there anybody that would like to speak on this item? Hey, Kelly.
Good morning, commissioners. Callie Benson, Extension Office Director. Yes, we want to welcome all of you back to another 4-H year, and in doing so, we want to have some of our 4-Hers speak directly to you this morning. We have several here. We're pretty excited about that. And if you all don't mind, I'll probably go from oldest to youngest. I believe that means Miss Riley.
Riley Cheney, Simla, Colorado, Rural Rustlers 4-H Club. I have been in 4-H since I was 4 years old. I've been involved in this program in many different projects and specialty contests, as well as leadership positions. This program has really shaped who I am, and it's built my character and made me as the person I am today. When I was 8 years old, I remember going to my first 4-H meeting, and I was such a shy kid. I wouldn't talk to anybody outside my family, and we showed up a little late to the meeting, so we're sitting at the back, and 8-year-old curiosity kicks in. I pop my head up to go see what's going on at the front. Well, it turns out at the time, they were calling for a motion, and they thought I was trying to stand up and give one. I had never heard a motion, never knew what I was doing. I ended up bawling my eyes out while I was giving this motion and crying my way through it. And now I choose to do speech arts and participate in public speaking activities. I also have been president of my club and am the vice president and girl senator of Elbert County Youth Council, and will be going in as president this next year and District 4 secretary. All of these leadership positions have taught me many life skills. I've also had interviews with all my 4-H projects. These have taught me and will help me in skills later on in life. Additionally, I have been able to have many role models, including Katie Listel and Aubrey Strawn. These ladies taught me from a very young age a lot of different skills within public speaking and within my projects. I hope to be able to do that to my club and my community and help be a role model to those younger than me. As I've gotten older, it's become more and more apparent how much I do this for. I am able to do this through serving with my leadership positions within my club and my county, as well as leading different things like Cloverbud Camp and cake decorating workshops and teaching those young kids how to do their skills. All of these programs are thankful to 4-H, and I have been able to grow my leadership skills, and all thanks to 4-H, and I really appreciate all of your guys' support and all of our time that you guys help us throughout this year, and it really is an amazing program, and I'm very thankful for it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Josiah Smith from Gold Creek 4-H Club, and that pretty much says it all, but I'm going to try to say something anyway. So 4-H has taught me a lot of different things about how to take care of an animal and what do you do if it's sick, how to shoot a gun and hit the target. Wasn't good at that at the beginning, I'm pretty good at it now. It teaches you a lot of leadership roles. I'm in youth council, and I am also have a position in our 4-H club of Gold Creek, and it's really hard to talk in front of people, especially when somebody else steals everything you're gonna say. But so yeah, 4-H teaches you a lot of valuable skills that you can use later in life. You can use woodworking or leather craft. You can raise animals. Shooting guns always comes in handy. 4-H is an amazing program that teaches you many, many things, and I'm really glad I've done it for the 7 years that I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Caitlin Good. I'm from Sun Country 4-H Club. My brother and I have been in 4-H for around 5 years. Through that time, we have participated in the countless activities the program has to offer. 4-H has been a safe haven of sorts for me. It provided a place that brought all people from all over the county interested in the things that I love together. When I attended my first ever 4-H meeting, I was so incredibly excited by all the things you could do in the program. I looked up to the then current president of my club, and I wanted to be just like her. I have gained many skills, such as the ability to speak in front of crowds just like this one, how to organize events, such as the float my club made for the Elbert County Parade, and I am now the president of my 4-H club. 4-H has also taught me to be a good citizen, from club food drives to volunteering during county fair. I have been motivated, inspired, and encouraged to be my best self by leaders and fellow members alike. I hope that everyone who loves 4-H as much as I do continues to appreciate and use its learning opportunities to grow to new heights. Thank you all for supporting 4-H and for listening to me speak today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Malachi, and I don't really have anything to say because they already said it all, but
So 4-H has been a great role model to me. Everyone in 4-H has really helped me. So shooting guns has taught me new skills, like first when I was, sorry, I can't really talk very well, but when I was first learning to shoot guns, I didn't really know how to shoot it, and so I had to talk to people to learn it. And so that got me connected with new people, and that helped me build friendships. That's about it.
Right, thank you.
Hi, my name is Azariah Smith, and I'm from Gold Creek 4-H. 4-H has helped me talk better to people and help me shoot guns. And I needed to talk to people to learn how to shoot guns. So that helped me to talk to people better. 4-H has helped me in a lot of things, like how to have a cow, how to take care of a cow, how to take care of a pig. 4-H has helped me how to learn how to take care of animals, shoot guns, and talk to people better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Obviously, we have quite a strong shooting sports program in Elbert County.
And the Smith family is well
And
defended.
it shows, for sure. At this time, I would also like to recognize the staff in this office because we do incredible things for the community, not only in 4-H, but through Master Gardener programs, as well as helping citizens every day. And we are fully staffed, which is really exciting as well. So first, we have Lori Denson, who is our 4-H program specialist. Also, we have Talyn Allen, who is our new office administrator. And most recently, we have Misty Jenkins, who is our new extension agent that came on board in June and survived through county fair in her first 2 months and keeps coming back, which I know she's tired of hearing, but it is really phenomenal. The work and dedication that this office does for our community spans not only from the youth side, which is what we're celebrating today, but across the entire community. And as our community continues to grow, we're going to be utilized more and more, which is phenomenal. All of these 4-Hers that you see here today, through a tough study that was done about 10 years ago on a longitudinal study, they're 4 times more likely to contribute to their communities. They're twice as likely to be civically active, as you can hear about all their leadership roles, not only in 4-H, but in their student councils and as they continue on through life. They're also twice as likely to be involved in science activities, as well as making healthy choices. So everything that we do, from shooting sports to animal projects to cake decorating, really helps build those well-rounded individuals that we want in our community. So thank you again for all of your support. If you have any questions.
Questions or comments?
My only comment is thank you for all you do.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I echo that, but we heard there were several different clubs here. How many clubs within Elbert County?
We have 10 clubs within Elbert County that serve 413 enrolled members that we have this year.
That's true. And I heard Gold Creek a couple times, so even our new developments have participation in 4-H, which I think is great.
Correct. Gold Creek has been an established club. I'd say our newest club that was founded in 19 or 20 is our Ranch and Rookies that is based in Kiowa. But there probably will be some growth and an expansion of those clubs as well, just as the community continues to expand.
You said 413
Correct.
participants. That's pretty high percentage compared.
Correct. In terms of the eligible youth within the community, we're sitting about 10% of the eligible youth, which is a pretty phenomenal ratio compared to other counties in the state.
I think CSU's goal was what, 5% or yeah.
Right. They're looking more 3 to 5 to feel like you're doing good.
Yeah.
So.
No, it definitely is. It's a strong program with strong kids, and I think this is probably our best, most look forward to meeting of each year.
Well, we're glad.
We know there's somebody coming behind us that can pick up the mantle. I mean, for those of you that are volunteering now to do stuff, it doesn't stop. And the more you do, the more people will ask you to do, and you can make a real difference. So thank you for that. But we do have a...
Well, we'd love to hear it.
Okay. we have a proclamation for you. And then we'd like to take a picture with everyone. But anyway, so this is a proclamation from the commissioners that reads, recognition of the annual National 4-H Week, October 1st through the 7th of 2023. And it reads, whereas 4-H is America's largest youth development organization, having supported almost 6 million youth across the country thus far, and whereas 4-H has helped youth in Elbert County, Colorado to become more confident, independent, resilient, and compassionate leaders, and whereas 4-H is delivered by a cooperative extension, a community of more than 100 public universities across the nation that provides experiences where young people learn by doing hands-on projects in areas including health, science, agriculture, and citizenship. And whereas National 4-H Week showcases the incredible experiences that 4-H offers young people and highlights the remarkable 4-H youth in Elbert County who work each day to make a positive impact on those around them. And whereas 4-H's network of 600,000 volunteers and 3,500 professionals provides caring and supportive mentoring for all 4-Hers, helping them to grow into true leaders, entrepreneurs, and visionaries. And whereas Elbert County and CSU and Extension encourage all our citizens to recognize 4-H for the significant impact it has made and continues to make by empowering youth with the skills they need to lead for a lifetime, therefore be it proclaimed by the Elbert County Board of County Commissioners that we do hereby officially recognize and designate October 1st to the 7th as National 4-H Week in Elbert County, and sincerely thank all Elbert County participants for their contribution. So I'd like to give a round of applause to the kids who spoke earlier. Unless there's an objection, we'll sign this now. Okay. All right. If you guys would like to join us up by the flags, we'll get a picture of everybody. All righty. You're welcome to stay, but if you want to depart, that's fine. Thank you. No, like I said, that truly is the best part of the best meeting of the year, I think. So, moving on, October is also a month where we recognize the problems of domestic violence in the communities. Not to take things down a notch, but do see we've got our victims advocates here today and the sheriff. Is there anything you'd like to say in regard to this? Otherwise, we do have a proclamation. Yeah. Well, if you don't mind, but if you could, since we have the crowd here, and could you tell us a little bit about what the Victims Advocacy Office does? And
yes, my name is Janet Maloney. I am the Victims Assistance Coordinator for the Elbert County Sheriff's Office. And our role with the Elbert County Sheriff's Office is to help any victim of crime, which domestic violence definitely falls in that realm. Basically, we help the victim understand what is happening through the legal process and just get them on their feet if they want our help. And we work really closely with the deputies and the investigators. So that's basically our role.
Well, thank you for what you do.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
I know you had the proclamation, if you wouldn't mind reading it into the record.
I would love to read the proclamation. It's a recognition of an annual Domestic Violence Awareness Month for October 2023. whereas launched nationwide in October 1987, Domestic Violence Awareness Month is a way to connect and unite individuals and organizations working on domestic violence issues while raising awareness for those issues. And whereas domestic violence affects millions of people in the United States, causing significant harm to the physical, mental, and emotional health of survivors and their families. It undermines their economic stability and overall well-being and a tarnish on the conscience of the community. And whereas domestic violence does not discriminate and touches all demographics of Elbert County, regardless of age, race, disability, gender, or socioeconomic status. And whereas we honor the tremendous dedication of advocates and service providers, honor the courage and resilience of survivors, and commit ourselves to standing with them for safety, dignity, and justice. And whereas research shows that by creating communities where people are connected, supportive, and care for one another can reduce incidents of domestic violence. And whereas we call upon the Elbert County community to speak out against domestic violence and support efforts to educate residents about healthy relationships centered upon respect, support the efforts of victims' advocates, service providers, healthcare providers, and the legal system, as well as the leadership of survivors in working to end domestic violence. Therefore, be it proclaimed by the Elbert County Board of County Commissioners that we do hereby officially recognize and designate October 2023 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Elbert County, and sincerely thank you, Elbert County participants, for their contributions.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. And I do want to really quickly say thank you to the advocates. We have Melissa Patastio and Sinead O'Dwyer, and without the work of both of them, it would be really hard to help all the people that we help. So thank you.
Thank you for that. I know the sheriff had mentioned that we're seeing, quite a few calls for domestic violence, and as the proclamation says, it's throughout the county, in all areas. It's a kind of a stressful period, and we're rolling into the holidays as well. So, this is kind of a plea to all those here and those that you see. If there's stressors in their life, reach out for help. There's no reason to take things out on those closest to you. So thank you for what you do. If there's no objections, we'll sign this. Okay. And though it's not a happy subject, we will take a picture, and certainly to honor those that are helping our victims. Alrighty, thank you. So we don't have a proclamation associated with this, but we do have the honor of being presented to, I guess, by Darlene Carpio. If you could, just an update on what's going on legislatively in Ken Buck's office.
Good morning. It's a blessing that the first meeting of my day begins with scripture, prayer, and the Pledge of Allegiance. Sean, thank you for that. It's very meaningful that we get to start our day that way. So a few updates. August was a recess time for those in the Senate and the House. So a little bit about how Congressman Bucks and his staff spent our time in August. We did have a staff training and retreat for 3 days in Loveland. However, the final day of that, I was able to bring the team out to Morgan County to get a little education on agriculture and remind them that not all of District 4 looks like Loveland and Fort Collins. Part of our day was spent at touring a robotic dairy in Brush, which was kind of an eye-opener for all of us. Lesson on agriculture, on challenges with workforce, on a lot of our FDA regulations. What does all that look like, and what is our part to play in that? We also had an ag round table. We had representatives from 12 of our ag organizations join us there in Fort Morgan. And some of the things that we learned was in the upcoming Farm Bill, they don't want to see their crop insurance changed. Seems to be one of the programs that, while needs tweaked at times, seems to be working. To have more robust and fully funded conservation programs. I know some of those programs, while applications were turned in as our FSA offices, this year in District 4, we could not fully find the funding for the EQIP programs, so to find more money in those. Labor issues and streamlining that process was a big topic for conversation. Research support was asked for, export and marketing support, especially when it comes to our cattle producers, our pork producers, and increase the FSA and USDA wages so that we can keep those offices filled so that our farmers and ranchers can walk in and get the service they need from local offices. I've also been able to take a tour with Colorado Department of Ag for 2 days in the Northeast region that was very meaningful to me. Always a good reminder, but also a good chance to form some good networking and relationships. The USDA Ag Research Station out in Akron has had a couple of amazing events and really have turned that around. Several years ago, they were in a really difficult situation of being fully funded, always on the closure list, and that's totally turned around. They are now part of the research station in Fort Collins. They're able to share that budget, share that staff, and they've made a big difference out there. A lot of what you'll see going on in DC this week, I'm sure of what you've heard the last 2 weeks, is budget focused. So the fiscal year for our country runs from October 1 through the end of September, and they have yet to pass an appropriations or spending budget for the upcoming session. So what they're saying again this morning, that it's fairly likely that our government will shut down come midnight on September the 31st, which is this Saturday. You won't see a whole lot of effect locally as that happens for the first few days, but long term it could have an effect. If you think passports are difficult to get your application done now, just wait until they have half as many employees. Some of the things that the congressman is looking for in that budget, he really is a fiscal conservative, presses for a balanced budget, and if he wants any increased spending, it's to pay attention to what's going on at our border. So those have been priorities for him. One of the things that we're focusing on as an office right now is our school student programs. And I don't know if you're aware, the House of Representatives has had a long-standing opportunities for students. One of those is an art program. So I am trying to visit every school in my region, so I'll be stopping at some of those in Elbert County today, to let them know that the congressman will have an art contest in the spring. He always does. The winner that is chosen from that contest for District 4, that piece of artwork goes to our nation's capital. It will hang there for a year, and he always sends the artist and their parents back to see it. So it's an opportunity. This year's theme is My Colorado. I love our mountains, but I'd really like to see a whole lot more windmills and wheat crops and cattle. So let's see and encourage our kids to participate in that. So probably enough from our office. Gentlemen, how can we support you here in Elbert County?
In my mind, the biggest one is the appropriations issue and trying to figure out how the future is going to evolve. Do you have any comments on that?
Grant, do me a favor and start over the first of it, because I didn't hear it. What is?
Well, the budget appropriations, September 31st, however you want to define it. What happens if the government shut down?
So it will be up to the leaders of each agency to name what they consider to be essential staff and non-essential staff. Okay, so those that are deemed essential will continue to go to work and perform their duties as we always do. Those that are non-essential would be staying at home. So what that does essentially is cut down how many staff people you have to get your services provided. So I mentioned passports for one. It's a lengthy backup that has occurring there now, but they will cut their staff and it'll be an either lengthier process. My hope is they get a congressional resolution passed that will keep that open for at least another 30 days so that they can take a look on that bigger spending package, and hopefully that will have very little effect of that closure. But as each day passes, we would notice it more. I hope that answers your question.
Oh, I appreciate that. I guess from where I sit, I would like to see an encouragement to focus more on our domestic issues and some of our foreign issues. We seem to be sending a lot of money over to Ukraine, but yet we have a lot of needs here in the States as well, and maybe a little bit of balance there or a shift would be a good thing in my opinion. So if you could pass that along, I would appreciate that.
I'm glad to, Commissioner, and that has definitely been a sticking point. So well said. Thank you. Yeah.
No, I appreciate the presentation, and I think the issues on the farm bill that you listed off are the ones that continue to bubble to the top. Very specifically, the regular staffing of the FSA, USDA offices. Often our folks know more about the programs than the new person that's trying to support them, and they change fairly frequently, not only the people but the programs. So having folks there that can help our farmers and ranchers out is really important. On the crop insurance, after a decade of praying for rain, we got it all at once. So I know folks that thought maybe we were going to have a great year, had flooded fields, or then hailstorms that destroyed crops at the end. So I think all those items are important, and I hope we keep pushing on them. I restrained myself from clapping at the thought of a government shutdown, but I do ask that perhaps it's an opportunity it may delay quite a few services, but if we do roll into a shutdown and departments and agencies do identify who's truly essential, that's probably a good start point of what we should be funding regularly. And then incrementally above that to improve services to a desired level. But it's not something I think people relish, but if we do shut down and get down to what those essential functions are, it is a really good starting point of what our government should be providing and what we should be paying for. So
maybe take a look at closer as our efficiencies of running this country. Yeah.
I know when COVID hit within the county and we kind of walked through our drill of who's essential, it was we don't have extra people. Yeah. We fund only those positions we need to provide services. So.
I understand. Anyway. Thank you.
But thank you for that.
So I do have to ask, how are all your repairs going? Roads, bridges, working with FEMA?
Thank you for actually bringing that up. I did want to thank your office and the congressman. He was the first one from the federal delegation that reached out to see what could be done early on, and has continued, I think, to push. So right now we're in a good position. We certainly have to justify our costs, but I believe there's a little over $3 million that's been identified as potential reimbursement. We've still got a couple of roads that are not open, but they're lightly traveled, and we were holding on repairs so we could document from beginning to end with FEMA. We also, outside of FEMA, the Federal Highway Agency has also reached out, and there's some differing support that they can provide that doesn't require matching. So between the two, between FEMA and Federal Highways, I think we're going to come out of this okay, actually better, because all of our repairs have been made with increased capacity for flow. So. But thank you for reminding me on that.
Well, you bet, and I'm glad to hear that. FEMA has done a good job of keeping our office intact. In fact, they have we have a webinar with them this Friday morning with our senator's offices, FEMA, and our office, since this was the area that was all impacted by those weather incidents. So they've done a really good job of keeping us informed, but continue, if you have concerns, reach out. All right.
It's like the bomb cyclone several years ago. The actual heaviest rainfall in this area was centered about 10 miles east of.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Now we generally get well under 20 inches of rain on average. We had over 37 measured on a couple of locations in the county. So it was significant.
Absolutely.
So thanks.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for this time.
Thank you, ma'am. All righty. So moving on to citizen public comment. This is an opportunity to address items that aren't specifically on today's agenda. I'll start. Is there anybody in the room that would like to speak?
Good morning, Commissioners. Don Gray, 16,000 Highway 86. Probably everybody's seen the notices going up around the county, the signs that are speaking to the community meetings that Excel is proposed for the 10th and the 18th of the following month. I just was looking for your guys' comments on any updates that have come through Excel, or is this just the stepping stone that they're working forward through? Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll get feedback after we're closed. Was there anybody else in the room that had comment? Okay, seeing none. Amanda, was there anyone that wanted to be called?
No.
Okay. So with that, we do have one email comment that actually came in just before our last meeting, and we weren't able to read it into the record then. But this is from Dan Mason. He's a resident here in the Kiowa area. I don't have his home address here, but his comment was, COVID deja vu. There's an old saying that is relevant. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. According to a high-level source within the TSA who will remain unnamed, the feds plan a new COVID scamdemic lockdown again this fall. By mid-September, they plan to initiate phase 1. They plan on bringing back masks, social distancing, new vaccines, etc. Later in October, phase 2 will bring back travel restrictions, etc. Schools and hospitals are already softening up the public perception and mentally preparing us for another Orwellian nightmare, totally fabricated by the powers that be. Will our local leaders provide leadership this time around, or will they simply go along with the feds and state officials? Will our county health department again recommend testing, masking, vaccinating, etc.? All of which the writer says cause harm, especially to the very young, old, and pregnant women. If you haven't already figured out through your own investigation, masks are harmful, especially for our children. Will our county health officials again recommend obediently following the direction of Bill Gates and the CDC without question? Will they again buy us off and bribe us with free money? There is no such thing. Has anyone except Big Pharma and companies providing all the various COVID supplies and equipment benefited? How many in our county have seen a rise in their standard of living since the whole COVID scam started 3 years ago? How about inflation? The inflation rate continues to rise, and the cost of real goods and services, gasoline, food, housing, etc., continues upward like the previous 4 years before the big COVID scam. Small businesses have been decimated or destroyed by the COVID scamdemic. Don't be fooled again. The powers that be are set on mostly depopulating the world and making the rest of us their slaves. Tyrants like Bill Gates, George Soros, Mark Zuckerberg et al. want us groveling at their feet, eating bugs, and owning nothing while being happy about it. I will not comply. How about you? And this was dated August 28th, 2023. So that was the only email comment. So with that, I'll close public comment. In terms of the comment and question on Excel, that's the last contact we've had, just the scheduling of the public meetings. I do think it's promising that they're holding one in the similar area as well as out here. So, and I hope truly that they're well attended. Anything to add on that one? No. And then in regard to Mr. Mason's letter, I know our next meeting as a Board of Health will be in our second meeting in October. I don't believe we've had a new commissioner join since we published our kind of first statement at the beginning of the identification of COVID in Colorado, but that is that the county's position is it's our role to provide the best information we can so our residents can make good decisions for themselves, their families, and their community. We are not heavy-handed. This is a lot more about helping people help themselves and providing the services we can within our capacity. So I don't think there's any difference to that, and we can discuss it further at our Board of Health meeting. But with that, I'll close public comment, and we'll move on to discussion items. Our first and only discussion item today is actually our audit of our 2022 budget.
Morning, Commissioners. Tiffany Hermes, Finance Manager. As you are aware, we did file for a 90-day extension for our 2022 audit, and it was granted. We have been working with Reuben Brown to finalize that audit, and I have Matthew Marino here today with Reuben Brown to give us an update on that.
Hey, good morning, Matthew.
Good morning. As Tiffany said, I'm here to provide an audit update. I'll kind of fill everybody in on what is the county, why does it need an audit, as a result of Colorado revised statute, as well as various agreements with other entities, as well as the fact because the county receives and expends federal funds, every year the county goes through an audit process. We audit the financial statements of the county as well as the federal expenditures of the county. We do intend on issuing a clean or unmodified opinion on the county's financial statements. We're in the final phases of cleaning up the draft, making sure all the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted, and there's no extra R's in sheriff, which apparently there was one, so we'll get that taken care of. So a couple different things for this year. We followed up on the findings from last year. There were 3 recommendations that we made last year with regard to the audit process. The first one being internal control over financial reporting. The second one being on the preparation of the schedule of expenditure of federal awards. And the third one being the administration of the recovery money or some of the COVID money. So the first one with regard to the controls over financial reporting, we showed great improvement this year. We were more on time, things were accurate in spite of the turnover you had in finance accounting team. So that was no small effort on Tiffany and her team's part, as well as the rest of the county, as well as your external consultant that helps with the financial reporting. So we saw great progress in that. On the CFA, we're happy to report we did not experience the same errors in the CFA or your federal expenditure of federal awards. And then on the last one, with regard to the administration of one of your federal programs, which was your American Recovery Act or your ARPA money, we did not see a repeat of the doubling up of expenditures, but we did note one of the reports that was supposed to be filed was filed a couple days late, so we will issue a recommendation just because it's after the deadline, but that it really had to do with getting usernames switched over to the current finance team, and that process is not always as quick as you want it to be. They were aware that it needed to be done, but probably the runway could have been a little bit longer, identifying that this is upcoming and we need to start working with the feds to get that updated. So going forward, your county team has already submitted a corrective action plan whereby there'll be a primary person that can submit reports and then a backup person that's set up in the system as well, so that would alleviate this process going forward. With regard to the audit results, we did have to implement one new accounting standard this year. It was not as big an impact to you all as it was from some other entities. we as a county already had a lot of what were called leases, capital leases in the past on our books as debt. GASB 87 was issued whereby leases that were not capital leases would come on entities' books as something much like a capital lease, showing a right-to-use asset and a liability. So some of the leases did move from capital lease, because capital leases go away, to right-to-use leases, but the liability stayed the same. So you didn't incur new debt, it's just where does it show up on the financial statements, and then we did pick up a couple additional leases relating to mostly copiers, not real material to the county, as far as showing that liability on the books. Your team did all that work in concert with your external financial consultant. You know, went really well. Like I said, we're just in the final process, and we plan on issuing in the next, I'm hoping next 24 to 48 hours, so we can get it done and get it off our plate. I'll come back in October and present the full audit results, but I felt at least it was least appropriate of me to give you an update on the process and answer any questions before we eclipse past September 30.
I appreciate that very much. Any questions or comments for?
If I'm listening to what you said carefully enough, the transition in our finance department has gone well, and the output that they've given you, you feel comfortable with.
Yes, they've been highly responsive. When there's questions, we work together to work through it. And, you know, it's not been without some growing pains on their part. I know they've had some long time in their office to make sure they were ready. But I do want to applaud your team for letting us know when they weren't ready so we could just reschedule and come back. I mean, it's as long as we know it's coming, we're more than willing to work with people and kind of work through it. So it's gone well, and we look forward to the continued leadership of not only Tiffany, but the new county manager and you all to continue pushing the county forward as it continues to grow and change.
I just want to say that's great to hear. Thank you for coming out. I know it's an effort for you to be here. We appreciate it, but to hear that we're improving, that's what we want to do every year, just to have that continuous improvement. So thank you to you, to the finance team. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I would echo that. Matthew, I truly appreciate not only the critical eye that you put on our finances, but the teaching and mentoring that occurs throughout. I agree that finance team is under the county manager's direction we're so far ahead of where we were when, well, we only had one person. So, and me trying to build a sandcastle as the tide was coming in. But having seen various drafts going back and forth, it's really, well, it's interesting as somebody who doesn't live in that world to see how, though the numbers don't change, the changes in where things are accounted for, especially with the GASB changes. So I appreciate you taking us through that effort. So.
Yep, and unfortunately, GASB is not slowing down, so they issued another standard that is much like the leases, but it has to do with software. I touched on it last year. So most governments, you think back in the day, you used to buy a disk of Microsoft Office or Adobe or whatever. That's not how software is really sold now. It's usually on a subscription-based sort of thing, and sometimes they even store your data. So what the GASB did is they issued a new standard saying, it kind of seems like kind of debt-ish, so you might have to pick up some additional liability and also show an asset for that software. So that's just really a change for how software is engaged with users, and it really makes sense. And it's not just a finance thing. Your assessor uses a software, sheriff's office uses softwares, and so we just got to look at all those. And for 23, we'll work through that together to get that booked as well. But I appreciate the feedback.
Thank you so much. Yeah. That was our only discussion item. We'll be moving into action items. We do have a public hearing for the liquor license for the Patch and Elizabeth. I understand you're using.
Mr. Chair, due to the relationship I have with the applicant, it's probably best for all parties if I recuse myself at this time.
All right, I'll give you a moment to depart. All righty, so.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we open the public hearing on the new liquor license for the Patch in Elizabeth, new location.
I will second that. So we have a motion and a second to open the public hearing for the new liquor license for the Patch in Elizabeth at their new location. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. So we're in public hearing. Ma'am, it's good to see you again.
It's nice to see you guys again, and I appreciate your time. And I mean, by now I'd imagine you know why I'm here. My name's Rebecca Spence, attorney for the Patch and Elizabeth LLC, registration number 54030. And as we stated, we have a new location here for the liquor license. Nothing else has changed. So I'd love to just ask the board, we're prepared to go through the whole testimony, walk you through the new floor plan, policies, all of that, but also happy to incorporate past testimony about policies and our concept and things of that nature. So just wanted to turn that back to the board to see what you wanted us to do here.
I'm fine if you are with just focusing on the new location.
Okay.
Yeah, and I agree with that,
Except
is
for the rest.
that kind of summarize it and then the new location for us.
Yeah, great. And I'll just kick it off and then,
If I could for a moment, I did want to turn this to Amanda, who's kind of been shepherding this at the staff level. So.
Of course.
So I just wanted to give a report on receiving the application for the new location. So the new location is located at 7400 Highway 86. The applicants are Dusty and Kathy Smith, and they're here with their representative today. I just wanted to let you guys know that through the process, the background checks have been completed and there's no concerns. The temporary use permit for the property, I believe, has been issued, and all the fees and documents have been submitted. I also wanted to note that they did have a petition, a liquor license petition completed. There were no concerns with that petition as well. That was included in the packet. The state is concurrently reviewing the application and is awaiting local approval. And a site inspection will be completed once the approval has been received. So staff has no concerns and recommends approval.
Thank you for that, Amanda. Ma'am.
Great. And do you guys by chance have a copy of the floor plan? Okay. Is it easier for me to hand it to you, or you've got it? Okay, great. Awesome. And I'll start off, and then I'm going to pass it off to Dusty because he's boots on the ground there and knows it a lot better than I do. But essentially, and I'm sorry, do you also have this little drawing? Great. So as you can see, there's on the actual Google map image, it's a larger licensed premises area, and we did that because there's an alcohol storage barn right towards the left side of the page there. That storage is going to be under lock and key. Only Dusty and Kathy are going to have access to that, and that's the only reason why the licensed premises is as big as it is. Otherwise, if you flip the page to this little drawing that we have here, the saloon garden is where the service and drinking will be taking place. It's going to be limited to this area, and it's a considerably smaller area than the licensed premises and the patch itself. This area is going to be highly regulated, highly monitored. I'll let Dusty talk about wristbands and that sort of policy situation, but I just wanted to point that out before asking Dusty to get up here. As Amanda mentioned, we did run a petition in the area, and I think that given that there are no concerns, that satisfies the needs and desires of this license for this area. Okay? I'm going to pass it over to Dusty to just quickly run through a couple of the policies that he has in place and answer any questions rather that you guys might have about that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Morning, Dusty.
Good morning. Do I need my name and address? Okay, so my name is Dustin Smith, also go by Dusty. My address is 39980 Foxtrot Circle, Elizabeth, Colorado 80107. As Amanda mentioned, the property address, the place of business for the patch is now 7400 State Highway 86 in Kiowa 80117. As we talk about the policies, there will be one drink per ID, so even husbands and wives would need to show up with an ID and only purchase one per ID. We will ask or provide, I should say ask, we will require that they wear wristbands if they are drinking. All of our staff, and there's approximately 50 staff members at the patch at any given time, so they're on the lookout for two things. One is anyone who is not wearing a wristband who is consuming alcohol, and the second is anyone, even with a wristband, who is consuming alcohol outside of that designated area. As we've mentioned before, we do have 2 posse members on site. There will be one afternoon after 3 p.m. that they will not be there due to a conflict, but it tends to slow down about that time. They tend to, this last weekend when we were open, they tend to locate near where the beer garden will be. Plenty of shade there for them to sit on their ATVs and monitor, so they will be close by. All of the servers are trained to recognize signs of intoxication. This is generally referred to as, or one of the programs that they received as TIPS training. Obviously, we will not continue to serve anyone who shows any signs of intoxication. This can include slurred speech, smell of alcohol, standing difficulty, unsteadiness, or stumbling. We will also not serve any type of vertical ID that can generally be, that's generally underage. We are aware that some states do not require the replacement of a vertical ID for up to 10 years. If somebody from Arizona has a vertical ID and they're 25, that's okay. They still have a vertical ID and we will not service them. We're aware that, liquor code violations can mean administrative penalties for the patch and criminal penalties for staff and us. And obviously safety is of utmost concern. Along with the new location, we do have a new entrance. It has been paved, even though CDOT did not require it. So the apron has been, that is all new as well, if that matters for traffic entering 86. So I'll pause there for questions.
Any questions?
It looked like this last weekend you had opened for business?
Correct.
And is it going to be just on weekends going forward, or is it?
So we're open Fridays from 10 to 3 and Saturdays and Sundays from 10 to 6. There's an additional day of Thursday. I believe it's the 19th that coincides with Douglas and Cherry Creek Fall Breaks. Alcohol is only served on Saturday and Sunday. We do not have alcohol service during the week.
No, I appreciate all the effort that went into this, not only the move, but the reset of this application. And I have no questions. I think you've covered all the bases very well. So. Amanda?
I just wanted to mention that this is a year-round liquor license. They're not limited like a special event permit. So if they were to open for additional festivals, it would work for that as well. I just wanted you to know.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying.
That is the point. So I guess I will, you don't have to depart, but I do have to ask for public comment. And I'm seeing none, so we'll close public comment. And I think we're probably ready for a motion on this.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the new liquor license for the Patch and Elizabeth new location, agenda item 2023-1874.
I second that motion. So we have a motion and a second to approve the new liquor license for the Patch and Elizabeth at their new location. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. I would accept a motion to close public hearing on this.
Mr. Chairman, I move we close the hearing for a new liquor license for the Patch in Elizabeth new location.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second to close public hearing on this item. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the hearing is closed. Thank you. Oh, please do. Yeah.
Just wanted to thank all of you for the time that you've spent on this license, and specifically thank Amanda as well. She's been really helpful and throughout the whole process, and we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Righty. Commissioner Schroeder is returned. We'll move on to our second and last action item for the day, and that was the consideration of the September 13 minutes. I'd accept a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes from September 13th, 2023 meeting and dispense with the reading of those minutes.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the September 13th meeting and dispense with the reading. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. All righty, moving on to board planning. Well, we'll get with Tiffany and Matthew to either at our first meeting in October or the second to get the final formal out brief on our audit from 2022. Do we have anything else to carry over? Okay. That kind of gives us a start. Just as a note, the 15th of October is our statutory date to receive the draft budget for 2024. So once that's received by the board, we'll cause it to be published so folks know when public hearings will occur. That's all the business we have for this morning. We do have two small rezone and subdivision applications to hear at 1 p.m. at this location. So we are in recess until that time. Thank you very much.